Hey gods and goddesses, this is Trisha from Light of Lemuria, and today I'd love to share my passions with you. Egyptian Tantra and of course the sex magic from the goddess Isis. So when we hear about Tantra, we usually think about the Indian Tantra. It's so well known around the world. But not many people know about Egyptian Tantra. Now, Egyptian Tantra is a beautiful sacred practice, and we need to realize in the ancient times, knowledge was spread by different ports all around the world. These civilizations, these different countries would travel by boat to different lands and spread their teachings far and wide. Hence why everything is, Tantra is worldwide now. And, when we look at sacred sexuality and the practices, we look at it in Tantra, we look at it in Taoism, we look at it in all around religions and different spiritual sites around the world. And when we look, these teachings are very similar, especially with Egyptian Tantra and Tantra, but they have their own unique blend and blueprint to them. So when we look at Tantra, or the Tantra in general, Tantra means so much, but it is not from a philosophy mindset. Tantra is something that you experience. It's something that you live. Tantra is a path about consciousness, about living from the heart and living in, sharing a divineness about you, an awakening a part of you through nature through your body. So it teaches you how to live from a heart-based life. And Egyptian Tantra is no different. We look at this, and I'll talk about this later, that the Egyptians were obsessed with the heart. We know this in mummification, how they stored the heart in the Coptic jars. And so when we look at Egyptian Tantra, it's one of the highest, most spiritual paths one can really go on. And Egyptian Tantra is considered esoteric. It's considered esoteric because it was only passed down to, this secret hidden knowledge was only passed down to certain initiates. And these initiates, or the priests and priestesses, or the pharaohs, the pre-dynasty, the ancient pharaohs, the real pharaohs. It was passed down, this lineage was passed down to them, and they would go through initiations to be able to master this beautiful sacred system, practice. So the priests and priestesses of the time in ancient Egypt, they utilized this intense energy, or this sexual energy, to act and to fuel their Heka magic. And they directed the power of Sekhmet. Now, Sekhmet is what we know as the Kundalini. In ancient Egypt, they directed their Sekhmet, their Kundalini. They knew the importance of mastering their own energy. And so this would influence past, present, and future events or circumstances, or anything they wanted to be able to manifest. And they would use this to their advantage, and also be able to have the most amazing, mind-blowing orgasms, or we call it cosmic orgasms. Yeah. So if you could say that Tantra taps into your consciousness, then we must look at Egyptian Tantra as opening the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. And the superconscious can tap into the essence of the universe, a flow of electromagnetic waves that permeate all matter and all space. And it allows us to see beyond the material reality and to tap into the energies and consciousness behind that reality. Yep. So when we look at Egyptian Tantra, we're looking at a higher level, and none is better than the other. Please know that no other practice is better than the other. It's just whatever you resonate with, and I myself definitely in my core resonate with Egyptian Tantra, hence why I teach it and practice this beautiful sacred lineage. But when we look at this, it is of high vibration, of high magic, Egyptian Tantra. And we know, and like I was saying about Tantra is about the heart and awakening to the heart. It is, and the Egyptians were obsessed with the heart because they knew the secrets, that the heart was the portal to get to higher states of consciousness and to get to the afterlife, or to go into the heavenly realms, or the divine, or access to your divine. And we know this to be true, and especially when you start to practice Egyptian Tantra, you will know that the first initiation is to open that heart and to be able to have access to your divinity, or to your god and goddess. And with ancient Egypt and in ancient Egyptian practices, we look at these hieroglyphs on the wall. And a lot of the teachings in Egyptian Tantra is about the embodiment of the deities within you, or your divine, the masculine and feminine. And we see this throughout the histories and on the wall. We know that the importance through the initiation is to utilize union, and we call this a sacred union in Egyptian Tantra. A lot of people around the world are talking about twin flames, and they're talking about sacred unions. And look, there are only a few that have twin flame journeys. I think this culture has really blown it up. But the thing is with Egyptian Tantra is you need to meet your own sacred union first before you can even bring in a conscious sacred union partner, or let's say to be ready for one. So this was really important. We know this on the spiritual path, is to start to work on ourselves, to work on the shadows, to work on stripping back the shame, stripping back the guilt, especially when it comes to sexuality, your sexuality. And of the time in ancient Egypt, there was no taboo. Sex was not taboo. It was not shamed or guilt or anything. It was pure, vital life force. It was that creative energy that we all were birthed from, and we all came from. But now, over the ages, it has been deemed demonized, and it's lost its purity. When we look at Egyptian Tantra, we bring back the purity and the sacredness. And unfortunately, I see this in my world, in the Tantra field, that some are using the power of Tantra for their own personal power, their own personal manipulation, egotistical, gaining unnecessary power. See, they knew in ancient Egypt, they knew that you had to go through certain initiations to gain this wisdom, which is wisdom is power, isn't it? Knowledge is power. And, you know, so if it falls in the wrong hands, then, you know, we can see this as more of a darker manipulation. And we can see this as I always talk about this as well. If you're not initiated and purified sexually and going into these practices, you can really bring through and create darker energies, or allow the darker energies to work through you. And if you haven't gone through the initiation practices properly, then you can be really in dire straits. You can really start to play in, you know, in dark places. You can really get yourself into a lot of trouble. And as we see in the Tantra world at the moment, I know a lot of people are being persecuted at the moment. A lot of men have been abusing their power in Tantra, because Tantra is also working with the sexual light. And if it's not used by the purity and it's for their own personal sexual gain, you know, it comes into a lot of trouble. And this is what we're seeing around the world. So if you are really serious about the path, you really want to be able to connect with your teacher, first of all, and see if it really resonates. And we all know when it doesn't resonate, when there's something not quite right. We feel it within ourselves. It's using discernment on this path as well, because no one, I want to get this clear, no one can be your guru. No one can be your teacher. This is what Tantra, Egyptian Tantra teaches you, to be your own guru, to be your own, to be able to have direct access to the deities, to the cosmic, universal life force, to the universal laws, to guide you, your own access to your own source. And this is what it is. You do not give your power away in Egyptian Tantra, or you should not do this anyway in general. Give your power away to somebody else and give authority to them. So we see this, people, you know, really wanting to heal sexually, especially sexually, and going in the hands of some unsavory teacher. So using discernment, no one can be your guru. No human can be your guru. That's just giving your power away. It's about going within and doing the work within and tapping into the source and your divinity and your connection to the source. And this is when you start to really make changes and shifts. Of course, there's some beautiful teachers out there that will help you on the path, or will, as I say, I like to say I'm a doorkeeper, and I hold the door, or I hold the opening for you to learn your own mysteries, your own teachings, because Egyptian Tantra, or any Tantra, it's your Tantra. It is what you want to make out of this. Once you gain this knowledge and this power, what do you do with it? Well, we want to create a better life for ourselves. We want to really connect deeply. So sex magic of Isis. Now, when we look at sex magic, and we're using goddess Isis, goddess Isis, the goddess of sexuality in Egypt, she is the mother. She is nature. She is brings through that divine feminine principle. When working with Egyptian Tantra, now all the lineage or the mystery school teachings is actually from the goddess Isis. And when we work with sex magic of Isis, then we start to really dive deep into sacred sexuality. And I have many videos on the topic of sex magic of Isis, so I will share in the link so you can watch them. But when we go into sex magic with Isis, we're actually invoking the goddess within. We're using her magic and recreating and enhancing our own hathor. So if you want to work closer with me, if you want to learn more about Egyptian Tantra, more about sex magic of Isis, come and do one of my courses, work one-on-one with me. I have the Priestesses of Isis, which we work, I think it's about 2 months back to back of sacred sexuality, sex magic of Isis, and allowing our witches and our priestess energy to come through as I train you and initiate you into the mystery school teachings, as well as Egyptian Tantra. I also have Egyptian Tantra Sex Magic, a course that will be available in October. And I also have a new course coming up. So stay tuned. I also do retreats in Kopangang, beautiful retreats here on this beautiful little island in paradise in Thailand. So stay connected with me. If you want to learn more about the mysteries, if you are have a fascination for Egypt, you would like to learn more on the tantric path, dive deeper into sacred sexuality, or infuse and allow the deities, the gods and goddesses to come in and to really empower your life, or you're interested in priestess, witchcraft, shamanism, being a tantrica, come and join, and look forward to seeing you soon. Blessed be.